Clap of death. Junaid's got the clap.
Ha.
Got
I hope
him.
not.
Got him. Hope so too. God, I didn't even start. I didn't even think of an idea first. Fuck.
You guys seen the people suing Toyota because their work truck that they resold was showing up in like ISIS videos?
What?
Yeah, so
What?
this guy had
You're
like
suing Toyota?
Yeah, it was like a pool or yard cleaning truck. And he sold it back to Toyota because Toyota does that thing where they'll buy back your old Toyota and like pay partially for your new Toyota with it.
Yeah,
Kind of
just
deal.
a trade-in.
Yeah, and so he did a trade-in, and they didn't take any of the decals or anything off of it, so they immediately sold it back over to the Middle East, because Toyota's infamous for that. They've just dumped a shit ton of like Toyota Tacomas in the Middle East, and that's what ISIS drives around with their Chinese AKs.
Huh.
And they did a video, and his truck was in the background, and you could see his business number on the windows and stuff. So he was getting like death threats for being an ISIS supporter.
No.
And he's just like, dude, no, I just fucking sold this truck to Toyota like a month ago, and it's already in the Middle East circulating.
Oh my god, dude, that'd be terrible. And what
Yeah.
a Horde like plan to try and go after like fucking. Do they go after like the dealership in general, or?
It's the dealer who did it and gave it to
Yeah,
Toyota.
probably. God, what an idiot
It's
though.
definitely the dealer. But dude, imagine the engineering. Serve a life as a work truck in a construction or some sort
I
of
knew he was gonna go this way.
trade like that, and then go
I knew you
do
were gonna-
terrorism.
I knew this was coming. Yes, you're my hero, dude.
Dude, Toyota all the way, man. I've been a
It's
Toyota
like-
fanboy.
Just
for their reliability.
The second you said Toyota and something about the car getting resold, I was like, Junaid is gonna stand out. This is what you stand for, Junaid, is Toyotas. Okay, this
I
is what
stand
you
for
are.
Toyotas.
Dude, I
Yeah.
dig
I
Toyotas
definitely
too.
stand for Toyotas.
I almost bought a Corolla, but it had too many blind spots.
A
gonna get, like-
newer one?
Yeah, I was gonna get like the 2017 Corolla, and it had like
Yeah,
a shit ton of
dude.
blind spots, and it didn't have a rear
Those-
view camera.
I won't lie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought that was
those
some
rear
joke that I was
windows.
missing.
No, I was genuinely gonna get this thing, and it's just like, this thing kind of sucks.
I was trying to figure out what the joke about the blind spots because you
Yeah.
just gave me this look, and I was like, did I just get a joke that I didn't get because I don't get cars?
Yeah, I asked him, it's like, what else do you have? And it's like, well, it's a Subaru lot, so I got Subarus. And it's like, yeah, a Subaru that's like the Corolla. And he's like, yeah, I got this. And it's like, yeah, okay. I like this, I'll take it.
Nice.
It's like the same price, a year newer, and shit ton more safety features.
Nice.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
What kind of Subaru do you have?
It's like the Legacy, I think 2018.
Do you know the license plate number off the top of your head? Or the VIN? Don't.
Oh,
No.
Don't
I probably know
dude.
my license plate number.
don't say it. Don't
I've
say
punched it in enough times every time I park at the university.
it. Oh, you have to do it like every single time now.
Yeah. I like ran a pencil against it, and parking at the university twice a week for one class is cheaper than buying a parking pass.
I'm sure.
Because they want like $600 for a parking pass, or I can pay like $150 over a semester for just parking hourly.
Oh, so you got the pay by phone app?
No, I just go up to the little kiosks in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, the pay by phone app got hacked recently.
Yeah, dude.
I got,
hate
like-
pay by phone shit.
Yeah, it's getting pretty sketchy now.
It took like an arm and a leg for them to convince me to get Venmo, and it's just like, well, I needed to pay my landlord, so I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, but what do don't you have to like get like a report for like your taxes, or does that just go through like your bank?
No, I get a report for my taxes for it, but
Oh, okay, cool.
it's just like, I honest to God would have preferred to pay him in cash or something, but then we'd constantly have to visit, and once COVID hit, we weren't going to be doing that, so it's
I
like,
used to have to do that, and it kind of was a pain. I kind of liked when my landlord here was like, got this new thing called Venmo. Have you guys ever heard of it? It's like, yeah, bud, we have. So it does make it a little easy on that.
I don't know. I like paper
the convenience, yes, but you get no paper trail. That's for sure. Big pivot here. What are you guys' thoughts on like low rent shitty holidays?
Low rent shitty holidays?
Yeah, April Fool's Day, St. Patrick's Day.
I mean,
Valentine's Day.
I'm an avid believer that Valentine's Day is like a Hallmark holiday.
Well, almost all of them are.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this a lot on Mother's Day the other day. I was like, did they just convince us to go out and spend money again a bunch more on another day of the year?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we can do Mothers and Fathers, and we get 2 more.
Because, like, I know that there is historical relevance to St. Patrick's Day. I mean, it's like folklore-esque, yeah. And the only reason it exists here is because of Irish immigrants.
Right.
If you didn't have Irish immigrants, there'd be no reason for it. Kind of same deal with like Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense for like. That's the thing is like Irish immigrants probably have something important for St. Patrick's Day, and Mexican immigrants have something important for Cinco de Mayo. But for everyone else, it's a drinking day.
Yeah, that's all it is. They're all either just like drinking days or just a day to convince you to go spend more money on some shit you weren't planning.
It's either a drinking day or a card day.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, like any day that the government deems as a national holiday is a blessing because Americans are overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, but it's not like everyone gets the day off.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
There's still so many people
overworked, underpaid people have to work holidays.
Yeah, they all. It's not. Yeah, the people who are overpaid and underworked are still there. Are you kidding me?
Like
the people
Martin
that get
Luther
those
King
days
Day.
off.
No, the people who get like Connor was just about to say, the people who get those days off are doing just fine.
Yeah, they got their 5 to 10s.
Their nice little corner office.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wherever I worked, I'm like, dude, I am getting Martin Luther King Day off because to me that's not like a low rent holiday. That's like civil rights holiday for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The black community didn't like Martin Luther King when he was alive.
I think we talked about this one time.
Yeah, you and me talked about this, but during like the era, he like older black people didn't really want to change, and younger black people felt he wasn't serious enough. He wasn't radical enough. So neither of them really liked him. But the reason he was such a threat to the point that, the CIA offed him is basically because he hit really well with white middle class people. Which, for the U.S. government, convincing black people was whatever. But convincing white people, now you have people voting.
That was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
You convince the people with rights, something can get done legitimately.
Not if you give it to the poor impoverished people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. They have hanging up in the CIA headquarters the notes that they sent him to tell him to kill himself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
they're
wild.
They're framed. And he's just like, I want you
They're
to know.
proud of that?
No, they're like, this is a reminder of the dark history of the U.S. government. I think like the FBI and the CIA both have them as like reminders, but any person
reminder of dark history, isn't it still dark today?
Oh, it's 100% still dark today, but it's just the concept that like
they're like, we're out of the Middle Ages.
You go to work and like
we're out of the dark
ages.
ages.
This frame note telling Martin Luther King to kill himself.
Here we are talking about the white people doing wrong to Martin Luther King. You guys gotta just keep calling it the Dark Ages, man.
The Darky Ages.
Thought we were better. Thought we were better than this, boys.
You seen their new woke advertisement?
Who?
The CIA.
No.
It's this whole thing of how like they hire millennials, people of color, people with anxiety, things like that, and it's just like, no, you don't. There's no way you hire a low-income, socially anxiety person to work for the CIA.
And if you do, maybe don't.
Yeah, they're talking about how they hire people from like the
they
LGBT
hire you
community and stuff.
Yeah, they hire you to do experiments on you.
You're right. Look, people didn't like MK Ultra, so we're conducting it entirely in the office.
Jeez.
And this thing with MK Ultra, it was actually considered a workplace hazard to be cautious of being involuntarily sedated with LSD in the 80s if you work for the CIA.
Really? So it was kind of like a little more known than they play it out to be. Like
it was known in the office, but it wasn't known when it happened to you.
Huh.
They would like spike your department's water cooler or some shit.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I want some free drugs like that. It sounds kind of dope.
Yeah.
You're just at work one day and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
They
Yeah,
just like
no,
honor
but it
you.
wasn't like, whoa, dude, concentrations. It was way too much concentrations, right?
Yeah, there were like people throwing themselves out windows because they were freaking out in their office.
So they
kinda
weren't
deal.
like, whoa, dude. They were like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, it was
A little too much.
It got nasty.
A little too much.
It's like the
load, dude.
world is ending.
And the other thing too is they do it for like god awful amounts of times. Like they had one guy that they just heavy doses of LSD 3 times a day for like 72 days straight.
Whoa.
Yeah. When he came out of it, he couldn't even like recognize his parents that he
You
lived
wouldn't,
with.
you wouldn't know what reality was anymore.
No, he like had massive brain damage. And the whole reason they were doing this is they're just like, what if we made like a substance, like they were trying to basically make truth serum.
The truth serum, yeah.
And they couldn't, so they're just like, what if we made someone so stoned they just unintentionally told us their secrets? And then they were trying to figure out where that was.
They can't be right secrets once you get somebody that stoned, though. They're going to be just saying
Right.
They're going to say nonsense.
So it was that, and then it was also the concept of like, basically, no person has the same reaction to this
Right.
substance, so you can't guarantee that. Like, there's no uniform amount that you can give someone to make them cooperate. So then they're just like, well, what if we use it as a torture device? But then you brain damage people, so it's like people that did know secrets don't even know them anymore.
You fucked up their brains, made them
like-
think that they got
Yeah, you damaged them
abducted
so
by
much.
aliens. Do you guys know anyone that thought they were abducted by aliens?
Just
I
in
don't
YouTube videos and stuff who claim that. Maybe a homeless
got-
person yelling at me.
I got like an uncle of a married-in family member who is like beyond 1,000,000% convinced that he was abducted by aliens. But this dude is like fucking Cheech himself, who took way too much acid in the 60s.
Good.
And I only met him a couple times, and I mostly just heard the stories, and they're pretty funny about how serious he actually was. Do you guys believe in aliens? That's such a loaded question.
Yeah, I'm mixed on it, because like the concept of, I don't think so.
Not the way we think of them.
No.
I think it's impossible that there's not some other living organism with the amount of infinite planets there are. I think it's statistically impossible. Do I think they've been like flying here on spaceships and building pyramids and all this other crazy shit? Hell nah. What do you think, Jay? Are you allowed to believe in aliens?
Dude, it's fun to like think what if there are.
There's
You
a
know,
lot of fun
it's
things to think.
it's like a good like thought experiment. Like, oh, dude, what if? Oh, dang, this life gets interesting. Stick around, maybe you'll see one.
You ever see like those TV series that interview people that supposedly been abducted by aliens, but they're like total redneck white trash?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty good. There was like one where the guy was just like, I was walking home from the bar and I got abducted in the parking lot, and like all the people in the bar, they do like the dramatization of like this dude that looks like this pan miner from the 20s in California going out in the parking lot, and he just like looks up, white light, and he disappears, and like all the patrons of the bar come running out looking around, like no reports of it.
Jeez.
It wasn't in the newspaper, there was no police reports or anything, but like supposedly you had 30 plus eyewitnesses.
Was it you who maybe told me, or did I hear it on a podcast that if like you I don't want to generalize here, but if you look up like UFO sightings in the U.S. and overlay that of like a map of like education levels and like testing levels, the lower end ones kind of correlate quite.
Yeah, there's like a lot
bit.
of weird things like that. Another big one is I mean, this was a joke that we had about causation without correlation in one of my stats classes. Is she like pulled up number of Bigfoot sightings and like number of Outback steakhouses,
Right.
and they like correlate. But the thing is you have the whole concept of like population density you have to
Right.
account for. So where
Right.
there's more people, it's more likely to happen.
That makes sense.
I think another one was like number of furry costume owners and number of like Denny's establishments, and it's
Yeah.
just like, well, furry owners live in big cities, and Denny's
Denny's
is in
go to big cities.
cities.
You're just getting two big things that are popular with big cities. Yeah, I don't know, because like one person who's told me personally that they've seen crazy phenomena. You worked with her, Connor. You'll probably know exactly who I'm talking about. But she swore to me two things that she swears on her life that she saw, and one was a plane floating in midair.
Right, the whole concept of it.
But she was driving in a moving car that was semi-perpendicular. So I was trying to
Right.
explain to her relative movement with no, on a clear sky day with just blue background. So there's no background to give it background. I was like, it can look like it's floating. And that just like went so far over her head. And then her
Yeah,
rebuttal
like
to that
ships
was
look like they're floating.
Yeah, well, that's a mirage. That's kind of the mirage effect. This is just relative motion. You know what I mean?
It's the concept that like if you drive by another car, the car isn't just
sitting there still
Sitting
and
still,
you're
it's
driving
moving with
twice.
you.
Yeah. So if you put two things moving perpendicular to each other at a far distance, if the speeds are at the right angle, right speeds, it could kind of look the whole time like this object is just floating there. You know what I mean? And then one day she was like, well, when I was a kid in California at the beach right by this military base, which it's like, all right, there's your answer in my opinion already right there. But she's like, we saw this thing flying and it was just going shoo, shoo, shoo. She was explaining it was just going like right to left so quick, and there's no way a plane could do that. And we were trying to explain to her, if the plane was going in a circular motion, but you weren't seeing it from the top or bottom, you were seeing it from the side, it would look like, if there was no perspective, it would look like it's just darting back and forth, left and right. And both times when we tried to explain those, like, just relativity, she just looked at us like, no, it was definitely aliens. Like, there's no way that makes any sense. It's 100% aliens. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the whole Roswell
You
thing.
just wheel out the whiteboard, have like a simple physics lesson.
Dude, we tried, and it was just like in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
What's the Roswell theory? Then?
So the whole thing with Roswell is that it was covered up because it was actually a U.S. spy plane. It was a Blackbird spy plane that goes up into super high altitudes, so they have to wear like pseudo astronaut gear. So when people pull the bodies out of the wreckage, they look like aliens with big heads and gray bodies.
Yeah.
Because that's the suits they're wearing.
It makes so much more sense to me that the
And it's this super sleek plane that crashed, but that's the thing, is like you can't say, oh, it's our super sleek government plane, because we're trying to make sure the Russians don't know we have this.
Billions. We are like investing the most money out of anyone by a long shot. The next 10 nations together in our military. You think there's gonna not be some shit that like is way that we don't know about, that they're denying as fuck, that they are just cover-ups to not, like you said, admit.
But it's like, that's the thing, is like, this was a cover-up, yes. There's no way it was like, what they said it was, a swamp gas and shit. But, it's not a fucking alien thing. It's a secret military thing we're trying to hide from the Russians, so we're not going to go in our public newspapers and say, oh no, this is our super high-tech secret spy plane that we want the Russians to not know about.
Let's put it in that's the public why the news. U.S. government's like doing so many admitting to UFOs right now? Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
That like the CIA is now admitting to like hundreds of UFO sightings. Do you think they're just trying to now just be like, yeah, it was definitely aliens, guys.
Most
yep,
likely.
100%.
Because that's the thing now, is like, it's actually easier to say it's aliens than it is to say what it actually
Yeah.
is.
And nobody wants to hear, hey, we did this crazy test on this thing. 2 people died. Now our enemy people are going to get technology of this because they'll be able to see pictures and get the ideas. And now it's going to come attacking us. Like, that's scary. But, oh, man, it's aliens. I don't get that. Ooh, spooky. That's
Yeah, it's just like, okay, there's like 5 people out there that are, you know, hard stuck on, yeah, it's aliens, and everyone else is just like, oh, you're crazy. And then it's just like, took care of itself. You don't have to do a cover-up if the American people already doubt what it is.
Just believe it. Yeah.
Hey Connor, I have a question about that spy plane that you were talking about. So the gray bodies, how does a human body turn gray like that?
No, it's not like the human body was gray. It's the suits that they wore, because it went such high altitude is that they had to basically wear like astronaut suits. So they're like these gray astronaut suits with big bubble heads.
And it's not, and what he's referring to, Jade, it's not to the people who did like autopsies and went and found them afterwards think these were aliens. It's from some like weird people who kind of rogue either just saw it or got pictures.
Yeah, that went to the crash site and
went to the
dragged the bodies
site
out.
and like, so there, it's not from people like doing any like science to see if it's just from people getting weird pictures of a dude in a spacesuit and they're saying it was an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unknown
cool.
sleek ship.
Because I mean,
weird uniforms.
Yeah, it flies at like a really high altitude. I would imagine if there's like in free fall, falling that far, reaching terminal velocity and just smacking on the ground, the body is just going to be completely disoriented and destroyed.
Because they've even admitted that like during majority of the UFO sightings of like the 90s were all stealth bombers. It was all just like, okay, we are working on this sleek aircraft that can't be detected by radar, that is like this triangle shape, smooth over, solid black, but we can't let the Russians know about it. So
Jesus. We're just trying to get our drone technology down, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that kind of stuff too. A lot of like the, self-manless drones that fly super sporadically.
It's not like those were just all of a sudden working one day, you know.
Yeah, we'd been testing and working on that for like decades before they even hit the public military.
I heard a cool thing about Tesla on another podcast you just made me think of, kind of related, that one of the reasons their like automated driving might be better than some of the other companies, like Apple's going to be doing not only electric car but like the automated driving system, is that Tesla has been storing driver data since they started on like the road, so it maps like, oh, people driving on this road on the right side like tend to hug this lane a little bit more.
Yeah.
On the right side, they start to brake here.
So they're going to make like this map, like a Google Maps of.
They already have the map.
Driving.
And it's just even more of the driving now. They have like the user data of
the
like
driver tendencies in this
driver
area.
tendencies, and they're going to put that into their AI system to make it smarter to like learn those tendencies. But they're going to be way ahead of the game because like Apple will be like a year after making their car will be like, oh, we got this self-driving thing, and it's probably going to be crashing a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Tesla's like, we got what, like by that time it'll be like 15 20 years worth of driver
because I mean, going down like 2100 south, that whole section between 900 and like 1100, I mean, the street parking totally fucks up the right lane,
right?
And so half the time right lane has to merge into the left lane slightly, and then that one turn where you go behind the Smash Burger, and like over to Habit, that one turn you constantly, if you are in the
lane,
left
it
lane,
like makes you jump.
Yeah, you have to do like a jaunt to go around if anyone's trying to turn.
Yeah.
To go into the next lane kind of deal. I mean, it's a fucky road. So
there's a couple roads that have those like intersections that aren't at the same height. So if you're at like the right lane, it's like a Mario jump when you go through the.
Yeah.
You gotta like compensate for that shit as you're driving. I think that'll be the learned shit that they get from all of this driver data. Like, every Tesla as it goes through this intersection's doing this little like.
Every people talking about it though, it's like the self-driving for old people, and then it's just like grandma dying in the car, but the car still gets to the house.
Oh no, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like, oh, grandma's here, and you open the door and she's just dead in the passenger seat.
Oh my god.
Like the car made it all the
Dude,
way.
what about like mobsters who will just like
Send-
kill you, put you dead in the car with like a bullet in your head and send you to like your family?
Yeah, or not even that, just like send the car on like this weird sporadic route until the battery dies kind of
Yeah,
deal.
just leave it there.
The
Fuck.
Dude, if
That's
the car is that advanced, I would imagine that it would be like have some sort of system to like monitor passengers' vitals.
no. I mean, it's already doing this now. There was the guy that
Don't you have to have like your thumb on the steering wheel to like keep like in...
no, there was a guy that got in his car and set to self-drive and took a nap, and he woke up in a police chase because he was going like 80 and a 40 for like almost 5 miles on self-drive mode.
Oh boy, dude. It's gonna have some hella problems at first.
And then have you seen like the hackers that mess with it?
I've seen some of the weird shit you can do that's not even messing with the systems, that's just like painting on roads. You can...
Painting on roads, you can if you make a 3 look like an 8, it's just like, oh, that's an 8.
Yeah.
And so a 30 becomes an 80.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I've heard there's ones that in like certain like kind of roundabouty areas you can like just add a certain line and it will just make like your car just sit.
Yeah, if you do like the no cross line.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, they'll just sit and go in these weird looping circles. That'd be a wild way to fuck with people.
Dude, it's like traffic or construction too is going to throw them off big time.
Oh, and you
Like
have
the
to have
whole
those signs.
Yeah, the whole construction over by your place, you know, when it makes you now have to like go into the center lane because the whole right's
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
And the car's just gonna be like, that doesn't make sense. None of our data talked about this. I'm gonna drive through cones now.
Dude, hi Joseva away. Oh my god. That is kind of wild. It's going to take a long time until enough people have it, though.
Remember, I went to the CTE Expo in Vegas. It's like that big tech expo thing that they do there.
You told me about this.
Yeah,
once.
and they had like a panel that was just a bunch of insurance lawyers, and you know, ask us anything about self-driving cars, and someone's just like, who's liable for an accident? And they're just like, long term, we don't know.
Yeah, there's no precedent for it.
Yeah, it's like if both cars are set to self-driving, it literally just comes down to whoever was taking better care of the technology in their car. Because it's like the concept
Is it
that
responsible?
if you did, yeah, because it's the concept that like if
No, is off the hook, I think.
is
The
if
person-
both cars are considered, you know, perfect in their self-driving capabilities and they get in an accident, it's going to come down to, you know, who didn't maintain the proper technological upkeep on their car has to be responsible because that's why their car would have made the error. But also the idea
So
too
like
of
you
just,
you don't update it when it's supposed to or something.
right, or something like that, or you don't like
God,
clean the cameras enough or shit like that.
That would suck, bro. You're like needing to leave to go to work. You're running late. You get
Mm-hmm.
up and it's like, oh, Windows 10 needs to update. You're like, fuck me. And you gotta like sit there and you're
Not even that. It's like maybe you get like a tint on your windows and it makes it just dark enough to like throw off your cameras so you get in this accident kind of deal. And it's just like, well, you have higher tinted windows, so it must be your fault.
That's bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah. They're like, it's going to be an absolute mess. Because every time it happens.
What happens when like a self-driving vehicle hits? Because it's not like one day all of a sudden everyone's gonna have.
No.
It's gonna
we're
be
probably
a long
going to like
transition.
never see the day when everyone has a self-driving
We will.
car.
I don't think so.
No. It's like the whole concept of the day when we all have flying cars. It's not ever going to happen.
No.
There's too many people that are still driving like their classic 1940s cars.
Right. I think it was Charlemagne the God said in a video I watched a little while ago. I think it was. Just made some comment about like, go drive down the street in any neighborhood and look at the range of cars you see. As long as you're not in like a really rich person neighborhood, like an average neighborhood, you'll see everything still from like 80s pickup truck.
Well, I mean,
90s
even if you do go through like a rich neighborhood, you're still gonna see like the guy that's got his
classic
fucking
cars.
yeah, his classic shit, his fucking Stingrays.
Right. But there's still people still driving like, 40-year-old cars that are still barely limping around. Do you think like cars that are the last ones that'll be like gas engines will still be limping around in 40 years
Yeah.
with the like poor college
Yeah,
kid,
it'll
you know what I
probably
mean?
just be Toyotas.
Yes, Jermaine. It'll just be Toyotas. If you had to buy a non-Toyota, what do you buy?
A Subaru,
Probably a
the one
Subaru.
I'm driving
Yeah.
now.
You two.
Same.
You lesbians.
For the safety, is for the safety tech. It's really just for the safety. Like in a situation like
Dude.
that, their eyesight system is so
Yeah.
advanced. It
Dude, I
really
can
like
basically
saves
just
you
floor it out of parking
from a lot of
spots
good
now.
things. It's like it's not as yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's gonna
it'll
suck
break
when I get in
it'll
like
break
a
for you.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna suck when I get in like a non Subaru car and I try and pull out of a spot. And it's like, oh fuck, I gotta look now. Because it looks for you. It beeps if there's a car coming down the lane from your blind spot. Now it's just like it's not beeping. I'm pulling out.
Fuck, dude. I have like for the first time have a rear view
Yeah,
camera
no.
on my car, and I still forget to use it. I'm always like turning around if I need to, looking back out. My wife's always like, "There's a camera." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, no, I almost failed my my driving test the first time because I refused to like turn my head to merge. It's just like, no, I got special mirrors on this car so I can see my blind spots, and then I count cars in my rearview mirror. I'm not gonna turn my head and look. That hurts my neck.
And the teacher's like, "Just do it so I can check off this goddamn box that you turned your head on."
No,
the
it was
fucking
like at the
lane
end of it,
change."
she gave me the whole breakdown of how I barely passed. And it's like, you fell asleep while I was driving, so I don't care what you say, but
Yeah.
it sounds like I get my license, so you can go fuck yourself.
Give me the paper, please, old lady.
Yeah.
Well, I had this dude. Our high school didn't have like driver's ed
Ours
in
didn't
this
either.
school. You had to go do it through like somewhere private. In this place I went, this guy who was the teacher he lived like an hour away,
Hmm.
and you had to do 2 hour long like drives or observations. So he would just like first group of the people of the day, he would like make you drive all the way down to his house so he could check his mail.
Yeah.
And you would just like stop at his house, he would get out his mail, check, drive all the way back like another hour back to where we were. And then he's like, second hour, he's like, all right, we're gonna go drive down to my local grocery store so I can get some gummy worms. And he makes you drive like an hour down to Provo
Yeah.
to get.
No, yeah, they do that too.
Where'd you do yours, Junaid?
I did mine at A1.
The same place everyone did then? That's the same. Did
Yeah,
you have the
but,
old
like-
man instructor?
Yeah, dude, I had him, but he always gave me like really short lessons. They were supposed to be an hour, but it was just like 30 minutes. He's like, all right,
And
you're
he was
done.
done.
Yeah.
He was over
Yeah,
it.
because like my dad taught me to drive when I was like
Right.
14.
He would always sit in the
So-
car so choloed out too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, stick, like, oh yeah, no piggy, let's do this. But
Easy.
it was just it was just an automatic there, so it was like super easy and chill. And I've always been like a fan of car. Yeah, he would just give me like 30 minutes and then tell me to leave. I'd be like, all right, sweet.
Yeah, he was kind of a weird old dude. How many hours did you have to do, Connor? Do you remember? So, like what, 10 driving hours and 10 observing or something like that. I don't remember.
It was 50 hours, and 10 had to be at night.
Was that with
Oh, dude,
anybody,
that-
or was that
I
like
needed to
with
have
the
someone in the
instructor?
car.
No, okay, so it wasn't like with the driver's ed. That was
No,
just
no,
like
I didn't
with
have
the
driver's
family.
ed.
Oh,
Yeah, I took an online class about like rules of the road, and then my parents just taught me to drive. That's how
then-
you did it in Vegas.
really?
Yeah, no school offered driver's ed.
So here, even if your school doesn't offer it, there's still like a class you have to go take.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a 3-week class, and then you have to do like 10 hours of driving with a certified instructor and like 10 hours of observation. So you're just sitting
yeah,
in the
but
car while somebody
Utah
else
drivers
drives.
are still some
No,
of the worst.
there's no observation. Yeah, that's what's funny to me is like you guys have a more broke down system, and it's just some of the worst driving.
Because
I've
it's
seen.
not like you're actually learning anything.
No,
during
the
those
observe
times.
like you having to observe someone drive is stupid. I observed my parents driving for fucking
your
18
entire life.
Yeah, 16 years before I got my license.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just have to sit in the back seat while somebody else
You
drove.
didn't sit in the front seat?
No, the teacher would sit in the front seat. And then the guy's driving, and then you would be sitting as the person in the back seat.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd show 3 people doing observations into one back seat. So there's 3 of you sitting in the back seat, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It was not.
Oh,
Utah drivers
just-
are just crazy, though.
See, that's the other thing too. You weren't allowed to drive with non-family under 18
Yeah.
in the vehicle.
Yeah, they do that with permits here, too. What were you going to say, Junaid?
Yeah, we did not adhere to those rules at all. Justin, remember? Like, I got my permit, and then my dad used to run a dealership, and I showed up with
Give a
that,
fuck.
and I showed up with that old school BMW. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Like 15, he's like, I got the car, dude. I'm like, we're going to get in trouble. Let's send it. Nah, I didn't really. My parents were pretty strict with my learner's permit until I got it. But after driving only twice in my life, like the third time, and it was when I had my permit finally, like that same day, went to IKEA with my mom. It was like a 20-minute drive, and we came out, and it was dumping rain. She's like, I think you're better at this than me. Here you go. Just like handed me the keys and walked off to the car. And I was like, what the fuck? That was the scariest drive of my whole life, because I was sitting there like 10 and 2, 10 and 2. Don't fuck this up. Like,
Yeah. The
Oh.
the other weird thing too is that there was no consistency in driving proctors when you took the test. So like my proctor marked me down 5 points for going 27 and a 25.
ooh.
Yeah. My buddy ran a stop sign and still passed. He like ran the stop sign. He's like, oh shit, I'm done. He like looked over and the guy's just like this chill PE teacher. He's like, it happens.
Dude, they're always they're always
Yeah.
in Utah, the school, like, drivers, ed teachers are always the football coach. Because you have to coach at like a sanctioned sport, you have to be
A teacher.
a teacher.
Yeah.
So they become the driver's ed teacher, so they don't have to be qualified at anything.
Dude, you know what's wild? My high school, their football team fucking sucked. Like,
Trash.
we would lose every homecoming game.
Nice.
No one wanted to go to football games anymore.
Okay.
It got so bad as that there was like, they would try and tell athletes, it's like, look, dude, if you fail this class, you can't play. It's like, how the fuck would I want to play? And
Save me, thank
yeah.
God.
And they got like former Eagles quarterback to come be our football coach.
Okay.
And he brought his entourage, and his entourage started like groping cheerleaders. So they had to fire all of them, kick them all off campus, and now no adult could be on campus unless they were a sanctioned teacher.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's just like, what the fuck?
That's sports
Hey,
are so
that's
fucking wild.
how you
with
get a
that.
winning team.
Yeah, no, our team was still losing.
Oh
You
god.
just
We
insinuate.
were dumping so much money into this guy, and we were still like, oh, all season.
Ay, ay, ay.
Like the dude came, it was like after our first football season, they're like, in our new coach, and he came out and like 4 people booed him.
Probably wasn't even that good. That's one thing about like most NFL players don't even play for more than a season. So if you think about like truthfully how many ex-NFL players there really are. There's a lot. Uh-oh.
Who was it?
Minor pause here.
All right. Mr. Phil, Eagles trainer. What was his name?
Sorry, Jay.
What's up?
I got a missed call and I might be hearing back job stuff today. Hold on.
Who was this guy? Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham?
That's who they got to be our football coach.
He's actually like I think kind of legit if
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Yeah, from like 88. No, he started in 87 and went to 90. He was the starting quarterback for them.
Okay.
And like his entourage was evidently fucking high school cheerleaders.
Oh, that's so gross.
Yeah. Keep in mind too, at the time he was what, like in his 40s?
God, he's got some decent stats.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's 58 now. So that was about
God, so he's an old creepy person.
6 years ago. He was still 52, and like his entourage was between that and maybe a little younger, and they would like come and be like assistant coaches. They were totally like perving on the high school cheerleaders.
The guy who was Larry Nassar, the guy who was like groping all the U.S. Olympians, just got sentenced.
Nice.
To like 175 years.
Yeah.
Or something. And the judge is this new sassy judge who's been like known to say some crazy shit. And at the end, he wrote this letter trying to like appease why he should get a lighter sentence. And she looked at it and she tossed it over her shoulder to like have some bailiff come throw it in the garbage. And then at the end, she like read his sentence and she was like, I just signed your death warrant. She said that at the end of like 2 trials when she's put people in for life.
Nice.
She's like, you're dead, buddy.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, man.
God, this poor school, man. We're still 0-0.
0-0?
Yeah.
No wins?
No wins.
How many losses?
All.
Oh, they haven't started the season yet. We're in the spring.
Yeah, I'm looking at the last season.
Oh, no, dude.
My football team has never won a season.
Like, not
yeah, so it was such a weird thing when I sat down in, like, the cafeteria and the Utah football game was playing one night. And it's just like, oh, okay. And it's like, holy shit, they're winning hard.
Yeah, the U's really good.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah. The U has, of the entire Pac-12, the most players that have gone on to play in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like, was watching. And it's just like, shit, this put, like, a smidge of school spirit in me for a minute.
Right.
I've never had this before.
Me and Janaid have had some wild days at University of Utah football games.
Yeah.
Janaid, I don't want to speak for you, but you're not even a huge football fan as far as I'm aware, but just like being there, being in the must, just like the whole energy
for sure.
of it was just...
Yeah, I think 2 seasons I went to several games and they're always like a riot, and then you just need like a nap afterwards.
Yeah, I had my roommate bought the Must Pass and he gave it to me once. And I went to it and it's just like, the fuck do I want to stand?
Yeah. I don't know if it is as cool as it used to be. I think I've heard from a lot of things that they've changed a lot of the rules about it, but it used to be really ridiculous in that they packed that kind of general admission top section, because there is a lower section that has actual seats. But you can only get that if you're like a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
And you register early. And then they have a bunch of general admission, and they used to not cap that number. So that used to be like unlimited amounts of kids could just show up, and they would sardine shove you.
No, that's what it was. Yeah, it's just like,
aisles.
this fucking sucks. I'm leaving.
It does fucking suck.
It's like, I'm going to go like pretend to look for my seat for the next hour.
Right. We used to always just start up at the dorms, just getting really drunk up at the dorms. And then we'd literally, right before the game started, we'd sprint from the dorms down to the stadium, like full speed as fast as you can.
That's
That's
far.
It's far. It's downhill.
That's the entire length of campus.
Yeah. And what it does, it gets your blood flowing hard.
Yeah.
You increase your blood flow right after you just chugged a bunch of booze. You get to the game and you're not feeling anything because you've just run. You're out of breath.
So did you take through the campus route, like over the bridge?
Yep, over the bridge and then just straight down that path.
Dude, I've seen so many people eat shit trying to run down those stairs.
Oh yeah, and you get going too fast because it's like kind of a slanted little sidewalk road, so you got to be careful. Your knees are hurting at the end, but you're also like, you just drank a bunch, and then we would get to the stadium. You're like still huffing and puffing, because then you get there, you gotta climb all the way up to your seat, and you can't really breathe, and then all of a sudden it just like smacks you in the face, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, like let's buckle in. This is gonna be a game.
Yeah.
So then we'd like be chilling there, and they had these people who were there to make sure like they would watch to see what you were drinking, to see, because a lot of people would like sneak in flasks and beers and stuff. So we did what we called the fucking continental drift.
Okay.
So there was like 4 of us, and whenever we would score, one person would like sit down onto the bench that we were all standing in front of, and then the other 3 people would just like close like accordion doors and cover them, and that person would sit down and like have a few swigs, and then they would stand up, we'd like pop back up, hand off the flask, next person would sit down and just like fill in, and we'd just like do this. We got away with it for a couple of years, like drinking in the stadium that way. They're pretty strict about it now. You have to like show up with
Clear bags.
That's
Clear
wild.
bags.
We used to show up with just they used to give out those little red like cinch sacks, and like you used to be able to show up with those. They wouldn't even search them.
Well, the clear bags are actually because of shootings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
That kind of stuff, but yeah, no, it's still like dry tailgating sounds so lame.
You can drink at the tailgates.
No, not anymore.
Since when?
Since I've been there, they've been dry tailgates.
No way.
Yeah.
So that's usually the only place you could drink up at the U was at the tailgates, and that's why their tailgates were so popular.
Dry
Even at
tailgates.
Utah State, when I was up there, you could drink at the tailgates.
Yeah, no, I had a buddy that got hired. He's like, yeah, my job was to do tickets and then to go make sure no one was drinking at the tailgates.
It depends on which one it is. Was it the student one?
Is the one that's like on campus, on site, in the parking lot?
There's one by the engineering building, and then there's one
lots.
just on that street. God.
Yeah. No, they say it's like all tailgates are dry. No.
I'm seeing different, my friend.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
so many
they're not.
people get way too wild and like
They're
eat shit
I
or
think
like
it's just
get
the
in
one-
fights.
on campus, the one that's like, there's a bunch that are right off over by like the field house and all
Okay,
those other
yeah.
places
Yeah.
that are the ones that students don't go to. Those are the ones that like people bring their RVs and their grills
Yeah.
and all that. Those ones you can drink at.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember taking the tracks up to it too.
Yeah.
And like all the people just downing as much alcohol as they could on the tracks ride before they got to the stadium.
Yeah.
Get off, and you have to like dump all your booze.
We did that a few times. Or, because I remember I knew, because I got a fake ID in my last year I was there. I think I was 20 going to football games. I remember using it to go up to like a few tailgates. They were actually selling beer there. Some of them were weird though, but that's just fucking tailgating. A lot of people just get too drunk and they don't even go to the game. A lot of times you can just sit out there and like drink beers and hang out with your buddies, hear all the wildness of the stands. Like people who tailgate claim it's much better than actually going.
I-
the
Most people don't
game.
make it into the stadium. Yeah, most
It's just
people
like
tailgating aren't there for the game.
Yeah, I've only gone to 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, I actually sat in on them. One of them was when I got the must ticket from my buddy and I left because it's like, this fucking sucks. And then the other time I went with my uncle because it was like his college team versus our college team. We met up with a few of the people from the office that I worked with when I was back in Vegas. And like one of the guys' dads came because...
Was this a game in Vegas or was it at the U?
No, it was at the U. And so it was like whoever the Trojans are for, like
USC.
USC. Yeah, it was USC versus Utah.
It's a big game.
And the one guy, his dad came, and so he went to USC, but his brother went to Utah. So his dad's like, "Oh, I'm gonna represent both my boys."
Right.
So he came wearing like a USC shirt and then like the Utah hat and paraphernalia. It's
Little half and half.
yeah, so he was just getting berated by both sides of the crowd, basically.
Jeez. There's Steph Curry who plays in the NBA. His little brother Seth Curry also plays in the NBA, and their parents get tickets to every time they play each other. And they get last I saw the dad had a custom made split down the middle and like seamed together seamlessly one half of each of their
Nice.
jersey. I was like, that's pretty cool. That's way to go. Be a parent.
Yeah, I just remember it's like you say it, it's like one person yelled from the audience or like the crowd. It's like, this guy looks like he dressed himself in the dumpster.
Oh my gosh.
And he's just like sitting there with a cane, senile as hell, with sunglasses on.
Oh boy.
Doesn't even really realize he's at a football game.
Sports are weird because, like, if you're with somebody who's really enjoying it and you can get in the right mindset, you can enjoy almost any sporting event. But there's a lot of small things that can really make them go. miserable.
Yeah.
Sitting out in the sun, being jam-packed in an arena, you know what I mean? Dude spills his beer all down your back. Like, all those different things can just fucking tank it for you.
You go and your fucking high school team loses every game.
Yeah, the team losing always makes it worse. When, like, you can go
when
to
you're
a
there
fun-
for the fucking band.
Right. Right. Well, also, if we're talking about this, shouts out the Jazz. The NBA regular season just officially came to the close, and the Jazz have the best record in the whole NBA by one game.
Nice.
So, that's
That's
pretty cool.
amazing.
Yeah, they're going to still get stomped, but... Dude.
Yeah, because
so-
everybody's gonna turn it up.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. So they did a weird thing this year in the NBA, Junaid. There's a play-in tournament for the playoffs. So usually the way it works is there's 2 conferences. It's 8 teams from each conference. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, yada, yada, yada. You whittle it down until there's only 1 left on each conference, those who play for the championship. This year they upped it from 8 teams to 10. But the way they're doing it is with a play-in tournament of the bottom 4 teams of that 10. So seeds, let me make sure I get my numbers here. 7 and 8 play each other once. Winner of that game goes in no matter what. Teams 9 and 10 play each other. Winner of the game 9 and 10 plays the loser of the
7 and 8.
7-8 game.
Okay.
So if you're 7 or 8, you only have to win 1 game to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're 9 or 10, you need to win 2. You need to win your 9-10 game, and you need to beat the loser. And if you can also lose 1 and win 1 if you're the 7th or 8th seed. So it's kind of just this whole weird thing that's going on. The NBA kind of, I think, lucked out on a 1 golden game this year because the Lakers' season tanked because LeBron and Anthony Davis both got hurt, so their team tanked, and they are the 7th seed this year. The Warriors, who have been mad injured, got dragged barely into the playoffs by Steph Curry, and they are the 8th seed. So the 7-8 game is a Lakers-Golden State game, a LeBron-Steph Curry, like the 2 arguable best players
Right.
in the league have 1 game to like play it out for who gets to make the playoffs this year.
Right. I mean, at least whoever loses has the chance to come back in.
Yeah, come back
too.
again and win another one. But yeah, it's
And then like the rest is the same, right? Like 7-game series.
yeah. The rest of it's all the same 7-game series once you're in, and like the winner of the 7-8 game goes in as the 7 seed. Winner of the whole other like loser versus winner of the 9-10 game plays the 1 seed. So there's a chance the Jazz are the number 1 seed, so in the end we'll play the number 8 seed, which is most likely going to either be the Lakers or Golden State. Whoever doesn't win that first game will most likely win the second one and go in as the 8th seed.
Okay.
And I think both of them could beat up on the Jazz, unfortunately. But you know what the irony is? I'm talking all about this and then realizing our schedule.
Yeah, this is going to be so late.
This is going to be late.
So,
Well, whoever, yeah, that was cool.
We should do like a live watch.
I could do that. I'll do it with you.
we, yeah, have you ever seen how, like, Japanese baseball does their playoffs?
No.
They're brutal. It's 100% elimination. So you can basically train for your baseball season, like your entire off season of like
And just one
6
game.
months. You lose the first game, your season's over.
Yeah, that's how like football and stuff is here in America. Like American football is the same way.
Is it?
Playoffs are just one loss. You're
This isn't playoffs. This is your season in general.
Oh,
Yeah,
like you lose it all.
you
and
lose
just
it
keep
all.
on.
Yeah.
Whoa, I thought you were just saying in the playoffs.
No, this is like the season
season.
in general. You lose your first game, you're out. That's
And then
it.
it just goes until there's only one.
And it
team
just
left.
goes until there's only one team left.
That seems like it wouldn't go on for very long.
No, it's a quick season.
Yeah, because like big records are like 20+ games is like huge for winning streaks.
Mm-hmm. So it's
Dang.
like whoever's at the end is just undefeated.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah. But it's like this whole thing too of you train for 6 months and then you lose your first game, and now it's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go train for 6 months plus the rest of this season because I don't get to play another game.
Right. Dang, the longest consecutive winning streak, and this isn't even at the beginning of a season. This is just at any point in a season, was in 1916 for an MLB for only 26 games.
Yeah.
So that'd be a short season.
Yeah.
Everyone competing hard too. That'd be fun to watch though.
Oh yeah.
There's some things that, like, there's one of the big criticisms about basketball, and the reason they added this whole play-in tournament is if you knew you weren't going to be one of the top 8 teams, you started to tank because the worse you did, the better draft pick.
Yeah.
you got. So it made it so, like, all these teams would start tanking, and it would just get boring partway through the season because you'd kind of see who's in, who's not. Now it's like a bunch of these teams can actually kind of fight to come
Yeah.
make some playoffs, and it's going to make it much more like do or die. And to me, I'm like, oh, that's going to add a lot of excitement. But
Did you ever watch hockey?
yeah, dude.
You know, the Knights? Yeah. You ever seen, like, the theatrical shit they pull?
No.
They have this massive golden helmet. Well, first they do, like, a full cinematic, like, movie
I was going to say, it's
opening.
going to be like a Vegas show, isn't it?
Oh, big time. The entire place is set up like a Knights arena.
Okay.
And the Golden
like
Knights
Excalibur?
stand. Yeah, like the shot callers box is set up like the king's throne that overlooks everything, that has like torches and shit.
They really leaned into it.
Yeah, but like they do this big opening like theatrical sequence of them flying in a helicopter of this giant Golden Knights helmet, and then like lowering it into the stadium on camera, and then like they have the giant helmet come lowering in onto the ice.
Wow.
And then like it comes up and all the knights come out, kind of deal.
Dope, dude.
Yeah, and it's like hardcore music playing the entire time. They got like the smoke and everything going, like all the theatrical effects for it.
Hockey games are a lot of fun. Hockey is the one sport that I think that you can know nothing about and go watch and like really just start having some fun.
And that's not even the end of it. When they come out, the knights on like do this whole choreographed thing
Like
with like a
skate,
projector over the ice.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you got drafted to go play hockey. You're some Russian. They're like, now learn your ballet for your team.
Yeah, that's
He's
the thing.
like,
It's
what?
like,
I'm here to fucking hit
that's the
people.
thing. You
It's
come
like,
in into the Knights, and that's the thing too. The Knights team is pretty stacked.
They won their first season.
They almost won their first season.
Did, I think.
No, they came in second.
Did they win the next season then? They won really early.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they've only come in second. I don't think they've won a season yet, but it's just consistently coming in second.
Okay, maybe but that's still tight.
Yeah. Or no, I think they did win their first season, and then after that they came in second. Because there's this whole thing is like, everyone was thinking that...
No Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So they did win their conference. They did go.
Yeah, there was kind of a conspiracy that it was all thrown together to like promote the Vegas strong mentality.
Yeah.
And then like they disappear into obscurity, but they actually do really well.
Yeah.
And it's just like this stacked team that comes in. But it's kind of funny. It's like all these major hockey players coming in, put on the same team, and then it's like, oh yeah, you have to do a choreographed number every
Yeah,
night.
and hockey players are like kind of like Russian thug mentality. You know?
Very much. Like they are tough dudes. And you're having them do like an act out scene on the ice.
Sinead, have you ever felt a hockey puck?
I feel like an ashtray.
No.
Yeah, Connor's right. You know those really thick like glass ashtrays that grandpas keep on like their back patio table?
Yeah.
It's like that consistency. They're hard as fuck. And those
Yeah.
motherfuckers are out there without face masks just taking pucks to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing happened.
I always like the guys that like hook it up on their like end and then throw it like a javelin into the goal.
That's kind of cool. I've seen some pretty cool trick shots. I always get into hockey for like a little bit. It's about the time of the year right now, I think. We're all starting getting into it. Stanley Cup kind of playoff times. It's fun to watch. Fights are always good.
Oh, always.
Also, it's crazy to watch how athletic and all this shit these guys can do while they're skating. And then I get out on the ice and I'm like, oh, I can't even do this.
My favorite thing was when I went to the last night's game I went to was a big deal because like one of their guys just got off suspension for doping.
Neat.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, oh, this guy doped and, you know, it's a shame. It's like, nah, dude, he's coming back. And everyone's like, he's coming back.
He's been doping and he's coming back.
He's coming back.
Dude, he's coming back.
I mean, that's how they were
twice as hard.
advertising it too. It's like, he's back.
Dude.
And everyone's like, yeah, he's back. Not even like addressing the fact, because it's like, oh, what was he gone for? And you look it up, it's like, doping.
That's how John Jones Jr. is for the UFC, like the arguable greatest pound for pound fighter. You can't get any fights anymore because this motherfucker keeps failing all his steroid tests and all this shit. And it's like he finally gets a fight. They hype it up. He passes all of his tests, and then the one right before he like always fails and can't fight anymore. It's like, dude, you're John Bones Jones, dude. Like
That's the other thing too. Is like, who dopes
And
for
he keeps-
recreational reasons?
he keeps getting like caught too with not even like with the dope, like not failing for like the steroids, but failing for like the masking. Because there's like different chemicals you could
Yeah.
take that mask your drug test, and they test for those now. And if you have a masking agent, and he's like trying to say,
It's assumed you have a drugging agent.
yeah, and it's like, and then he's like trying to claim it's from like some sleep medication that his doctor gave him.
Well, you can check for that in there.
Yeah, and I think that's the other problem is they're like, was it though, bud?
Yeah.
Like,
With your track record.
So, alrighty, boys. I think we've hit our second hour. Call it a day
Wrap
for
it
today.
up.
All right.
All you people out there going to want to watch some hockey, have fun. I don't even know how to wrap today up. Bye.
Later, guys. Thanks for listening.